Hello, my name is Xavier Mercado, and this is Spearhead Conversations. Today, I'm joined by a special guest, DJ GILLY.
That's me, DJ GEMINI GILLY.
I have been following, I have been watching from afar, and just the energy coming from this woman. She's putting on for the Bucks. She's in every hot spot you can think of downtown Milwaukee. She's really repping for the city. She's also even, you know what I mean, traveling afar from here. I definitely have been a fan of the energy, and I definitely reached out. She agreed. So here we are today.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
So without further ado, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Just trying to keep up with the, you know what I mean, interviews, just that work, the whole 9 yards, just life. Yeah, how you been?
I'm good. It's been a very successful month. So every time I have months like these, I'm always very thankful and just grateful. So I'm feeling like that today.
For sure. Yeah, man, you've been doing your thing with the music. Yeah. I see now Buck season's back, and one of the official DJs is here with us.
For sure.
Other than that, life is just life, right?
Yeah, I also DJ for the Badgers women's basketball, and that started yesterday too.
Get it.
Yep, sports in the wintertime. So yeah.
Well, man, it's a pleasure to have you here. And with that being said, you ready to jump in?
Let's jump in. Let's do
All
it.
right. So where were you born?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised.
All right.
Yes, for sure. Love
What part?
So my dad actually lived on MLK just about my whole life, and then I grew up on the north side with my mom. So,
okay, got you.
Going between the both.
How was childhood?
It was good. I had a great childhood. I'm the youngest of four. Grew up in a household primarily with my mom and my oldest brother actually, who's 13 years older than me. So had some interesting experiences.
Yeah.
Being 5 years old and having an 18-year-old brother. So I did a lot of stuff that he did and hung with him. Sports was really big in my childhood. My dad has been coaching basketball for over 30 years. So,
wow.
Yeah. So athletics
to him.
Athletics was a big thing for me growing up. I played soccer. I played basketball. Basketball was my first love. So.
Yeah. What type of other hobbies were you? Obviously, you were athletic. Yeah. Obviously, fit to the core. But what other hobbies were you into?
I was into music as a kid, listening to music. I used to like to draw when I was younger. Always just did things that were of the arts, I would say. And those were primarily what my hobbies were as a kid, other than sports. But sports was the main core thing that I would do as a kid. So.
For sure. Who were musical influences growing up?
Oh man, definitely. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old when Kanye came out. So seeing the start of that.
I'm so proud he said that.
Man, I huge Kanye fan. Now, know, some of the stuff that he's kind of been on now. But overall, just him as an artist, his artistry, seeing the grind of being a producer and being something that somebody else wanted you to be, and then trying to fight your way and push to say no, I'm a whole artist,
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely Kanye, Jay-Z. My brother listened to a lot of East Coast rap, so DMX, Jay-Z, The Lox, stuff like that. So I was primarily influenced a lot by the East Coast, but also the South too. So love Outkast. My brother would play a lot of old Master P albums and stuff like that. So
Hot Boys.
I was gonna say Hot Boys. Yeah, Hot Boys. So
yeah. What year were you born? In a nice way.
The 1990s.
I was about to say. Yeah. Well, I'm 89.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, man, I'm old. I'm an old guy. Yeah. But what's your earliest memory of you finding music?
Oh man. So when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, my brother wanted to be a music producer. So there was something back in the day called MTV actually put it out. Generator. It's like a video game.
Yeah, for sure.
He would be on Generator, like making beats, and they had
It was also on Sega, I think it was.
Oh,
too.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
He had his on PlayStation, and they had a sample feature. So like you can sample like actual CDs. You like take the disc out, you put the CD in.
Oh, wow.
You can sample it and put it back in Generator, put the game back in. Like it was the whole nine. It was honestly way ahead of its time. It was kind of like like an Ableton FL Studio kind of thing of like of a video game. And I can remember him playing like Cool in the Gang or like sampling like Jay-Z songs and stuff like that. And I can remember thinking at that time like, oh, I like this stuff. Like this stuff sounds good. And it wasn't stuff that was like on the radio at the time. Yeah, that was probably my earliest memory of like, okay, like I kind of like this stuff. But my fondest memory, I would say, of like remembering like a core memory with music as a kid, I can remember when the Through the Wire video dropped.
Get it, man.
I can remember my brother would have like music videos on all day, every day. Like that was all he had on, either MTV or BET, you know, at the time when they would play music videos all day.
For sure.
But yeah, I would like sit on the floor of his bedroom while he was kind of doing whatever or watching TV or whatever. And I can remember it debuting and just being like, oh, okay, like this is cool. You know, it's a journey. I love the journey and like seeing somebody from, you know, start to finish. So
yeah, for sure. Who do you, let's go into this. We've been talking music.
Cool.
Education wise, what type of student were you in school?
So I would say as a kid, I was super smart. Like I went to gifted and talented elementary school. Really loved education. My mom even would say like when I would after I would get out of school when I was a kid, I would come home and play school. And she would be like, why? She would think to herself like, why are you, do you want to, I couldn't wait to get back to school the next day. I can say as I got older, it was kind of just like, I don't want to say skirting by, but like I'm just doing enough. But it wasn't probably until I graduated high school where I was like, okay, like I just been skirting by. Like it's time for me to really like apply myself. So in college, like I really locked in and really wasn't doing anything but school at that time.
What did you go to college for?
Social work. So I got my bachelor's of social work from UW Whitewater. What up, Warhawks, my people. And then I got my master's from UW Madison. So
get it. Yeah. Let's do this for her. Well, good for you. How was that experience? College years, Madison, getting your master's.
Yeah,
man.
I went straight through for my master's. So I was in school consecutively, like post high school for 5 years. My experience at Whitewater was interesting. I would say I love my experience there. I'm going to say that. But it was interesting because like I was just so locked in. Like I feel like I was very motivated by, I can remember on graduation day in high school, when I graduated from high school, all my friends like have all these cords on. They're going to these big like illustrious like schools with these like D1 basketball programs. And I'm like, man, like I just did enough to get by, So I feel like that lit a fire under me to want to, be better. And at Whitewater, I feel like the infrastructure there, like going to like a smaller university, it was definitely what I needed coming out of high school and just maturing and, things like that. So my experience at Whitewater was amazing. Like, loved the staff, loved what I was doing on campus. My experience at grad school was a little different. So because my grades were so good in undergrad, I completely waived out of an entire year of grad school. So I only had to do 1 year.
Nice.
Of grad school. I literally, it was crazy. I worked super hard to be able to, get to that point. So to be able to have them say like, hey, like we waived it. And on top of that, I was in a program at UW-Madison where they pay for my education. Yeah. So I got my master's literally for free.
Good old scholarships, grants,
I know, right?
The whole 9 yards.
I'm like, yeah, give me that. No, but my experience at Madison was a little different. I experienced some racism, like within academia, that was that really took a toll on me while I was in grad school, and it actually led me to DJing. I was definitely like going through like deep depression when I was in grad school. This was my first time like living away from home. I had my own apartment in Madison. Like I wasn't in Milwaukee. Like it was like I'm just up here. Yeah. So I'm in Madison. My school experience was like not the best. My home life was like not the best. And I needed an outlet. I was doing super good academically, but just personally, like it was taking me putting so much in my academic career and jumping through hoops that I didn't feel like I needed to jump through, like to get that education, took such a toll on me mentally, where it took a long time for me to even bounce back from that, to be honest. But through that, I needed an outlet so bad, like so bad. So I ended up, I was in a seminar class one day. They had an article. I was on like Complex or something, or I was on Twitter, but the article could have been from Complex, but it had like top like women DJs. Yeah. And I just like clicked on it and I was like, all right. And I'm just scrolling and I can't even remember like who's on the list, but I was just scrolling. And I remember thinking at the end of reading the article, like, maybe I can do this. Like in high school, people used to invite me to.
Do you feel that's the moment where you were like truly inspired?
Yeah.
And okay.
It was definitely like a pivotal moment. I was reading through the article and they had like little blurbs about all the DJs, where they're from, what they've done, and all this. And I'm like, maybe I can try this,
Yeah.
And high school people used to invite me to parties just to plug my phone up, like on the aux, and not even DJ, but just shuffle a playlist,
Yeah.
In elementary school, I can remember making mix CDs for people's birthdays. Like that was my gift. Like,
gotcha.
I just love music and I love being able to like share music with other people. So that was kind of like what I was doing back then. So
I have a buddy. I'm actually standing up in his wedding, but he's actually one of those friends. I told him, I'm like, you need to be a DJ, bro. Like you seriously, like you plug in your phone and you usually got the hit after hit after hit. So there's that type of connect with the music.
Yeah.
All right. So you see this article.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like in the mix, you still get your master's.
I still got my master's. This article came out. Well, I read this article right around the time that it was almost my winter break for grad school. And after the seminar class, literally as soon as I got out, I went to Guitar Center in Madison and I started browsing around, like just seeing like, like what do you guys have, and putting my hands on stuff and talking to people. And I literally left with a DJ board. It was like a little small board, but it was good enough for me. It was cool. So I remember taking it home, and I don't know how this happened because this had never happened in my entire like collegiate career. I got like 6 weeks off for winter break. I don't know how, but I was off for 6 weeks versus like maybe even longer than that. I was out for a long time.
So you had time to practice.
I spent the entire winter break teaching myself how to DJ, like going on YouTube, like looking up different videos, like plugging the stuff up, putting my hands on figuring out like how certain things feel, how certain things mix. Like I still have videos. I was recording myself like just to see how it will look. And I still have videos from those times, and I look back at them sometimes and I'm like, dang, like I can't believe that like that's what was taking place then. I was literally teaching myself to do what I'm doing now for a living. So
for sure. Well, you know what? Since we on it, you know what I mean? Tell us your creative process when you put in these mixes together.
Okay.
When you put your music together, all this practice you had on that break.
Yeah.
But what's your creative process like?
First off, my number one goal when I'm DJing is for people to have a good time and for people to be safe. And I mean like everybody. I don't want anybody to feel like, man, like we not having a good time because she not playing us. Like I feel like I try to play a very well-rounded set that like everybody will enjoy, at least at some point of it, Yeah. And that's like when I'm doing gigs. If I'm doing like a mix, I'm just like putting out. That's tough. It depends on what my mood is. I have some like upbeat mixes where I'm just like, man, like I want people to dance, and like I'm gonna play a lot of stuff that I like to hear and that I like to play to make people dance. But like some of my more like chill mixes, is really me trying to mix like how I'm feeling. I like to tell a story through my mixes. So like it may start out like I may start with a clip from a movie, or I may start with like a song or something that, you know, sets the tone for the mix, and may start sad and end happy. So I just like to be able to tell a story when I'm mixing.
Got you. What type of DJ would you say? What's your style? Like, because, you know, there's many types of DJs. What is your style?
I would say my DJ style is I like to play the songs that people wish that they heard when they were out. Like songs that people play in their car, but be like, man, I probably will never hear this while I'm out. Or like deep cuts that they may listen to that weren't maybe the single of a CD, but you know, this is still a song that I like. I like to bring those, you know, like out and about. I love when people come up to me and be like, man, like I ain't never heard this in the, you know, this setting before. Or man, I forgot all about this song. Those are like my favorite things. Between that and people like seeing people Shazam like what I'm playing, like those are good compliments for me. So
there you go.
Yeah.
What do you feel were barriers for you when you first started out?
Oh man. Well, first I was living in Madison, and I like to spin hip hop. I love hip hop. I love black music. Yeah. And I just feel like there was not really a place for black music in Madison like that. Okay. So it was really hard. Like there were places that would say, hey, we don't want hip hop at all. Or places that would say like, hey, we only want like, you know, country or like super pop top 40. And like, this is the thing, like, if y'all want that, like, all right, I'll pull up and, you know, whatever, I'll do it in my own way. But like,
it's
if
trash.
I don't want to do that. I love to, I love black music. I always say like I specialize in black music. Black music is really everything for real, if we being honest. But like I love to bring like black culture to whatever I'm doing. So being able like, hearing places say stuff like that, like it's like but that was a barrier for me because I'm literally up here and there's really nowhere for me to spin. My very first gig was with a DJ up there who was like creating his own like events and stuff for, you know, the black population to come to. And he let me open one day and I was like, oh man, my very first gig, I remember like shaking before. And I was like, oh man, I've never DJ'd in front of anybody before. And literally did the gig and was like, man, I wanna do this. But I would definitely say the barrier was finding places to DJ. Yeah. And also just people honestly taking me seriously, right? Like, I'm a woman, like, I'm this very, like, small, you know, figure. And people just like, all right, like, cool. I remember reaching out to people, reaching out to DJs, reaching out to different venues, like, hey, like, I'm a DJ. Like, I had mixes at this point where I'm like, hey, these are samples of my work. You know, I didn't really have a lot under my belt as far as experience. But, I mean, I had something to show. I would get people that would be like, hey, like, you know, we not interested. Or, hey, we not looking for DJs right now. Yeah. We'll keep you, you know, in mind. Or just straight up reading and not responding, you know? So just, I would say people like not taking me seriously.
Well, definitely a lot of adversity you had to overcome, you know? What are driving factors that keep you motivated for this type of drive? Because, I mean, every time I look at a post coming from you, you on the go. You doing something, man. It seems like every day is a new adventure for you.
Man, it's crazy. It really is, yeah.
So what do you feel are the driving factors that keep you just giving it your all?
Man, knowing that music, and more specifically, like the music that I'm playing is like bringing people together, right? I'm a full-time DJ now. I no longer practice social work in a traditional way, but I like to use DJing as my way of still doing social work. I'm bringing people together. People are having a good time. They're being joyous and expressing joy and saying to me like, man, I haven't had an experience like this ever. Like, I've been waiting and wanting these vibes, you know? Yeah. Getting messages like that or getting people saying like, man, like we had such a good time, or just getting people who normally, you know, don't be out or don't feel safe going out or whatever, to hear people say like, man, we pulled up to where you was at because we knew that we was going to be good. Yeah. That makes me feel good because I'm like, dang, like I can remember going out and feeling like I didn't belong, whether it was, you know, when I was in school and going through the stuff I was going through, or like just going to different, you know, places out in Madison and not hearing Black music, or even in Milwaukee and not hearing like music that I would want to hear.
For sure.
That drives me to know that, like, you know, people really want to pull up to where you at. So, and knowing that I'm creating a safe and joyous space for people.
Yeah. Do you remember your first set and the type of emotions you felt?
Nerves. Like I said, I was shaking. I can remember I was embarrassed because I was shaking. And I was like, dang, I really hope that nobody can see that I'm up here shaking like a leaf. But like right before I went on, I was just like, okay, like, this is it. Like, I've been waiting for this moment. And I had my first gig 9 months into teaching myself. So at this point, I had already been doing mixes. But man, being a bedroom DJ and being a DJ, like having a gig is so different.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're in the bedroom and I'm recording my mixes, like, nobody's really watching me. I don't have to worry about, like...
You're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm super comfortable.
Yeah.
Versus my first gig, and I have a room full of people who don't know me, are probably judging me before they see me, and like, okay, what's going on? And I can remember just being like, okay, I'm nervous. But once I was playing and kept playing, and people were like vibing, and I was seeing people react and dancing, or like people coming up to me at the end and saying like, man, like you killed it. Like, are you going back on? Like, you know, like, are we gonna be able to hear you again tonight? I'm like, y'all want to hear me tonight? Y'all thought I did good, really? Yeah. Like, because I'm coming from a place of, you know, just being nervous and not knowing what to expect. Mm-hmm. But at the end of my first set, I remember literally going home. I registered my domain. I started making business cards, and I was like, no, this is what I want to do. At that time, it wasn't this is what I want to do full time. It was just, no, I want to do this in some type of capacity. So at that point, I was just juggling work and DJing at the same time.
Yeah. Any type of, you know, pre-stage rituals you do before you go on? Any type of, you know,
not really.
Like a routine you got going where you,
What's crazy? Like, not really.
No.
Like, normally when I'm places, right now, I do 6 months where I'm completely dry, and then I do 6 months where, like, if I drink, like, it happens. Mm-hmm. But, like, the 6 months that I'm completely dry, I'm in that season right now.
Good for you.
So, right now, I just give me a little ginger ale, a water or a ginger beer, or water, and it's go time. It's time to go. So, yeah. And that's typically just my route. That's typically just like what I order in the meantime, in between time anyway. So,
yeah, man. Well, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
What's most important to you in the way you connect with the listeners when you're performing? When you DJing?
I don't ever want people to think like I don't care about the music, or I don't care about them having a good time. Like, I'm always super self-conscious about like making sure people enjoy themselves. So like when I'm DJing, I look for certain indicators. So for example, if I'm DJing at a place where I know people are known to like maybe dance or like rap along or sing along or whatever, like I'm always looking for different indicators, which is like people pulling their phones out.
Yeah.
People getting their people together and like, you know, all of this. Like if I see people rapping a song or I see people singing and holding on to people, I'm like, okay, I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. But I look for those because I really care about people like enjoying the music. I don't ever want anybody to be like, man, she just up there like BSing, you know? Yep. I want people to know like, no, I really care about like you enjoying yourself and you having a good time. And like my utmost priority for real is to make sure people feel safe. And that's not just like physical safety, but just making sure ain't nobody like, you know, being discriminatory or like just talking mess for no reason. Like, no, I want everybody to feel safe. That's why like at all of my Gems Only parties, I always put out rules like the day before or the day of. And the number one rule is like respect everybody. Like you gotta respect yourself, respect each other, respect the space, respect the DJs. Like that's number one for me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, this has been a long way for you. You've been going through the hoops, the ups and downs. who do you feel have been mentors or guides throughout this journey?
Man, so many people. Like, once I started, and I feel like once I was like, all right, like, I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing. And once I started, I feel like once my name started buzzing, like, people started reaching out to me like, man, I love what you're doing. Like, in turn, I'm reaching out to them like, hey, can you help me with this? So, I know you had Mr. New York on your show before.
Yes, I did.
That's my family. He always tells us.
He actually just reached out recently again. He's like, when we running this back, I like, bro, we gonna get it, dog.
He definitely need a part 2. He has quite the career for sure.
Yeah, man, that dude. I tell you, man. Every time I look at his post, he got someone big, man. So I love it. You know what I mean? And I think this is what drives me about doing this platform is watching all of y'all. Like, y'all from the same city. We doing the same thing. You know, you're DJing. I'm podcasting. Yeah. I have that confidence. I'm good. We're doing great. But, you know, nothing makes me more happier than seeing people just in their element being who they are and succeeding at it. Yeah. So it's definitely, man.
I also love that, like, the people who reached out and poured into me, like, they genuinely, like, want to see me win. You know what I'm saying? So I can remember I didn't know how to DJ on turntables, and I was living in Madison at the time, and Brandis made a tweet and said, it was something along the lines of like, man, like, you know, if you really want me to take you, if you want me to take you serious being a DJ, like, you have to learn how to spin on vinyl, or like you have to be open to it. I literally tweeted him like, I don't even think we really knew each other for real at this point, but I tweeted him like, you know, where do you start? I want to learn. Yeah. He like, all right, like, for real? I'm like, yeah. We linked up at DJ Sopa's crib, and Sopa had some turntables. Like, they had a whole setup already out. Like, and I literally learned how to do turntables, like, with Brandis, because he was just like, no, like, come on, we finna do this. Like, here you go.
Talking about him, I think it was about the turntables, him and his first experience.
Oh, at the club?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He told me, he's like, I went to the back and I got emotional. And I'm like, bro, it happens to the best of us. You feel like he's been a mentor guy for sure?
For sure. Like, he has definitely, he always, like, congratulates me when stuff happens. He's always been very open to me, like, doing stuff with him. I can remember when I was starting to kind of do stuff in the city, once outside opened up a little bit after the pandemic. Like, he had me come do one of his residencies with him, and, like, you know, we was going back and forth, and I thought that was cool. Along with Brandis, I would definitely say DJ Bizon.
Bizon. Drip Sweat.
Legend. Drip Sweat too? That's for sure. Man. I did my first gig in Milwaukee with Drip Sweat, as a matter of fact. And me and Drip Sweat also went to high school together.
Really?
Yep. Fun fact. Shout out Drip Sweat, for sure.
Shout out to Drip Sweat. Yep. Well, she actually, the way I met her was I interviewed former educators of mine, and she did the music to their intro.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and that was the connection. But I definitely asked about her, and we definitely got her on the platform too.
Yes, shout out Drip Sweat for sure. Bizon was very instrumental, because Bizon is one of them OGs where you can just be like, man, like, what do you think about this? Like, can you let me know your thoughts? Or like, because like, he been in it for a minute, and super respected, like, super OG as far as like reaching as he climbs, like, just amazing.
I gotta meet this guy, man.
Bizon, he a cold dude for sure. He a cold dude. So I appreciate him. Also DJ Lolo. Okay. She was always just very instrumental. Like, once I was kind of on the scene, like, we just kind of linked up. How, I cannot remember the first time I met Lolo, but like, it's just been love ever since. So I always appreciate, you know, those people who pour into me and who lead me to like want to pour into other people, or, you know, they've been a part of my journey. So
I always say karma is a big part of everything you do. So
absolutely.
Just understand that energy you give out, it comes back.
For real.
So just be sure that you on your vibes and your frequency is high, and I promise you. But how do you feel Milwaukee has attributed to your success?
Man, I love the city. I love the city. I developed my brand and like my event series Gems Only in Madison, like in the middle of the pandemic. But I only had plans for it to be in Milwaukee. Like only. Milwaukee's like what made me who I am. Yeah. Like I am heavily influenced by like my childhood. I'm heavily influenced, even like musically and personally, by like my experiences through childhood, like the people that I met like while I was in school, the music that I was listening to and stuff. Those are all like in Milwaukee, you know? So Milwaukee has definitely been super inspiring. I can remember when I was thinking about Gems Only, I'm like, man, I want it in the city because like I want to bring these vibes that are in my head and that I'm like, you know, like, man, I want to do this. I want to bring it to my city. This is Gems Only is my love letter to Milwaukee. Milwaukee has poured so much into me. It gave me my grit. It gave me my resilience to go through, you know, the adversity that I did have to go through, like whether it was in school or like, just, you know, being a woman in the male-dominated industry, like that grit and that resilience, like I learned that from Milwaukee.
Definitely.
You know, I feel like we are really a different.
We're a different.
We different. We different here. I feel like we can do whatever. We can do anything. So Milwaukee has definitely played a huge part in just what I'm doing.
You know, in the way like Milwaukee is, I feel like the journey that I've been on, it definitely, man, the winters get cold and the summers get hot.
Yeah.
So it's more so, you know, when you have to, it's like acclimating, you know? Mm-hmm. I just love this city because the energy it brings out of you.
Absolutely.
If you're not right to it, it'll teach you.
Oh yeah, you're gonna learn too, and quick.
Man, what do you feel have been milestones or, you know, achievements that stand out for you?
Man, definitely. I can remember doing Summerfest for the first time. That was like on my bucket list because Milwaukee, right? Yeah. And on top of that, I can remember going to Summerfest as a kid and like. Man, I waited like 8 or 9 hours for Lupe Fiasco to come out so I could be front row back in 2012.
I swear I don't. I one of like I write music, but one of the people that I looked up to growing up,
Lupe,
was Lupe, and why? Because he's such a conscious man. Oh my God, the way he is with his lyrics is just like
so good.
It's like him, Nas, Cole.
Yep.
These are people that I really, really focused on. Like these guys they're in the bag every time with the way they deliver. And it's just like, bam, back to you.
I was gonna say, no, Lupe is like, my foundation, the reason why I love like conceptual albums and concept albums is honestly because of Lupe. Like think about Food and Liquor, think about like The Cool. Those are concepts from start to finish. And I know there's other concept albums that are, you know, before. Oh, also like College Dropout, Late Registration, like stuff like that. But Food and Liquor is where I really started being like, oh, like he's really telling a story from start to finish. I need to pay attention. I need to listen to this in order. So yeah, I waited.
Push.
Yeah, right. I waited 9 hours for Lupe Fiasco to come out at Summerfest as a kid, and now like being on those stages is crazy. I can remember that was definitely a big milestone for me. Opening up for SZA this summer. That was big. Man. That was huge. That was quite the experience. I had a great time.
How was it meeting her?
I didn't get a chance to meet her.
But hey,
security was like no, nobody can. But also Kim Kardashian was at the show, so that was another reason why they were just like, hey, we don't want nobody. So the experience was still good. Like I still got a chance to open for her. I still get people that write me to this day, like, man, like I remember seeing you at SZA, you know, at the SZA show, like you did this, or I came here because I seen you at the SZA show and we wanted to experience them vibes again. So that was cool. I opened for Ja Rule this summer. That was cool.
Good job.
Yeah, as a kid listening to a lot of
those
as a kid, like who always listened to East Coast music and hearing Ja and open, and I did get a chance to meet him. He was cool.
Yeah.
But opening for him, like that was cool. Other milestones. Gems Only, starting my own party series. That That's
Go into Gems Only. What is Gems Only?
Gems Only is my baby. Yeah, like, I don't have any like human children. I got fur babies, but Gems Only is like my baby. Like I conceptualized it during the pandemic, and it really was because I felt like I listened to such a wide range of music. But when I was going out, I wasn't hearing a wide range of music. And I was going out at a lot of different places. Like, this is like no knock to DJs or anything. Because I understand now, sometimes you got to operate within the constraints of a venue or an owner or whatever. So, again, no knock to DJs at all. But I was going out to different places and I wasn't hearing like a wide range of music. I'll listen to anything from house to neo soul to hip hop to R&B to alternative. Like, I listened to a whole bunch of different stuff. And I felt like there wasn't a lot of spaces to be able to DJ the way that I wanted to DJ. Yeah. So what better way than for me to just be like, all right, I'm just doing my own thing. So I can remember writing down, like, I wanted Gems Only to be these events to bring people together. Like, even back then when I was thinking about it, it was always to bring people together. Yeah. People think that Gems Only is Gemini. Like, my name is DJ GEMINI GILLY. I am a Gemini for real. But it's really about finding like the gem in you. Like, I went through hell when I was conceptualizing Gems Only. I literally created this diamond while I was in the dirt. So it's really about like finding like the gem in you for real. Like this, like Gems Only. Like I'm only spinning like good records. Like the DJs that I'm booking are only spinning good records. You gonna have a good time. Like it's a gem. So it's an event series now where I just used to bring people together. We got our next one tomorrow, Halloween. So I'm excited for that. We're actually collabing with Unfinished Legacy, so I think that's going to be a good time. Nice. And then we also have a sub-series under Gems Only called No Skips, and it's basically like a book club kind of sort of, but for your favorite albums. So we've done 2 so far, and it goes with like an experience. So our first No Skips, that is called No Skips. The first No Skips that we had was No Skips Cushion and OJ. It was like paying homage to Wiz Khalifa's Cushion Orange Juice mixtape. It was at Can I Hemp. It was on 420. We had like specialized drinks and stuff to go with it. It was cool. It was a good time. And then our second one paid homage to Solange's A Seat at the Table. And that was powerful. That was probably also one of my favorite just events that I've done because it was specifically for Black women because we were partnering with Black Space and they do they offer free therapy, but it's for different demographics. So they normally say like, okay, this one is only for Black women. This one is only for Black men. This one is for non-binary. Like, so it's very specific. So I wanted to stick to that. I'm like, I really want this just to be for Black women. So we had like maybe 40 Black women. We had a Chef Imani, to cook a Creole-inspired brunch. Everything was free. Admission was free. The first 10 people got a seat at the table vinyl. And we had like discussion questions that were developed by Dr. Leah Knox from Black Space. And it just incited so much great conversation. It was like healing in the room. And
that's inspirational.
It was so good. It was such a good time. Somebody said at the end, because we did like, let us know what this event like meant to you. Man, I was moved to tears. I was literally like sitting on the side, like crying, like I can't believe like this idea that I literally just thought of when I was in the shower is like causing people to like have these types of reactions. People were saying like, man, like this makes me want to repair my relationship with my mom. Like being here and talking to all these other women make me want to attend more events like this. This makes me want to be more around Black women. So it was cool. It was cool. So Gems Only right now is an event series, but I'm hoping that it can be, and I'm hoping we can incorporate a lot more of that like community stuff so it can evolve to something bigger for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, the achievement, the milestones, you also DJ for for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I do.
Hey.
Bucks in 6. We winning a chip this year. I said it here first.
There we go. You heard it. Being a woman in this industry, it has its challenges.
Yeah.
And you did touch base earlier a little bit on it. Mm-hmm. But what does it mean to you to be a woman, female? Mm-hmm. And would you say a male dominated?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely male dominated. It's powerful, right? Because I know that because it's not a lot of women DJs, especially in Milwaukee, like other women DJs who want to be a DJ, they may look at me as like an inspiration. Like I try to always just be on my P's and Q's and always be at the top of my game. Not just because I'm in a male-dominated field, but because I pay attention and I care about other women who are looking at me and be like, man, like I want to, I want to be a woman DJ. I want to do some of this stuff. Like, so it's power to me. I love being able to walk into a venue and see that people are like, what's going on here? What is she about to do? Why is she here? And press and play. And they like, oh, like, okay. I love seeing those types of reactions and proving people wrong, really. Because first of all, how dare you, prejudge me just because you see like I'm a woman DJ and I'm coming up here. But like it brings me great joy to just be like, no, I know what I'm doing. Like, hold tight. I got y'all. Like, so.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's inspirational, it's motivational to see you in your element.
Thank you.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh man. Man. And I say man and I'm like, oh gosh, because 5 years ago, if somebody would have told me that I was gonna be doing what I was doing today, I'd be like, you're lying. Like, no way, this is my life, really. In 5 years, I'm hoping that Gems Only will be a well sought out after event that people want to go to, like in different places too. Definitely want to take Gems Only, national, international. Oh gosh. My real aspiration, like when I first started DJing and even now, like one of my goals, I really want to be a festival DJ. And I've done Summerfest. That's checked off my bucket list. Now I want to do like festivals in other cities and stuff too. So being a festival DJ, bringing that vibe to people, continuing to be an NBA DJ, do like those big events. Yeah. I don't know. I think the future's bright though. Well, I'm hoping. So yeah, I think that it's the last 5 years have been, first of all, it's been a blur, but it's been a blessing because it's just like, dang, like 5 years ago I was doing this, and now 5 years later I'm doing this, and I just know in 5 years that I'm gonna say the same thing. Like, man, 5 years ago I was doing this, and now like I'm doing this. So yeah, it's hard for me to see, but I definitely want to elevate a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now. So
talking about elevation.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've evolved from the beginning till now in who you've become and everything you've created, the Gems Only, DJing for the Bucks, or these type of events that just leave your unique signature in the city of Milwaukee?
I feel like I'm more confident. Like, I feel like now I have not enough, because I feel like I'm a lifelong learner. Like, I'm never going to stop learning. I'm never going to stop gaining experience. But now I feel like I have a good touch of experience where I'm like, man, like, okay, like, I know what mindset I need to get into before I'm about to, like, do these types of events. Or I'm more intentional when I'm like planning events. Like, I'm not only just thinking like, oh, okay, like I'm just gonna put a flyer out and hope everybody come. I'm like, okay, now I gotta look from the business side of things. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I'm definitely more intentional. I feel like I've done a lot of healing within these 5 years too. just from, you know, my situation when I was in school and like my home life back then. Like I've done so much healing where like I'm happy now. Yeah. I'm a happy DJ. So I love what I do. I've always loved what I do, but it's even sweeter and greater now because like I truly love where I am right now in life. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely, and I feel like because I'm happier, I'm healthier. Mm-hmm. So like I'm a happier and healthier me, which causes me to like exude happier and healthier like energy, you know, to other people, whether it's me just chopping it up with somebody or like me actually DJing and like exuding good energy when I'm spinning. So I just want to be a light for real. Yeah. And I feel like there was a time where I wasn't a light, and it was because I wasn't getting light, you know. Mm-hmm. It was tough times, but I am appreciative for where I am now, and yeah, I just want to be a light for others, and I think I will hope on that. So, yeah.
Well, I'm here for it.
Thank you.
But you know, we always work ourselves to this question: what advice would you give to aspiring DJs, and also what advice would you give to our youth?
My greatest piece of advice, and I tell this literally to anybody because it is true, is not only trust your journey, but enjoy your journey. Mm-hmm. Even the bad stuff. Not saying like, oh man, good, I'm glad that this adversity has happened. But what are you gonna learn from it? You know, are you gonna bounce back or what's up? You know? So I would say enjoy your journey. Even though I went through all of the stuff that I went through, you know, when I was in grad school and just getting to this point, I can look back now and be like, man, I went through all of this stuff, but like I'm here now. Like I can remember now thinking about my first gig and being shaky, and now I don't get shaky when I do gigs anymore. It's like, no, I know what is expected of me and what is required. And you learn that through experience. There are certain things that just talking to somebody is not gonna, gonna get you. It's really about experiencing it and going through your journey. So I would definitely say trust your journey, enjoy your journey, and like take it all in. Like don't try to rush, especially in the age of social media. Like don't try to compare yourself to anybody else. Like I hate the debate to like, man, like who the best DJ in the city? Who y'all this and that? Yeah. Because like I really enjoy so many different people, and like I don't care to be that, you know. I just care to bring people together and do me, and I feel like that is like very unique in this age of like social media, where you like, man, like I wish I was doing this, and you can wish that you're doing something else, but like not to the point where it consumes you or it like brings you to jealousy and envy. Like use the stuff that you see and that you want to do to like power your dreams, you know, like to motivate you and push you to want to, you know, get to a certain place. So definitely trust the journey, enjoy your journey, and like be true to yourself. Like that's all I can say.
Hey, I definitely appreciate you coming on here,
thank you,
sharing your story, just being here in the moment. You know, I've done 100+ interviews. You know what I mean, and it's never a dull moment when you get to experience what it's like in the world of the people sitting across from me. Yeah. I appreciate you coming through. What are ways people can connect with you?
First off, you say you did over 100 episodes. Come on, press the clap. Press the clap. There you go. Clap real. Congrats. Yeah. But I'm DJ GEMINI GILLY on everything. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm most active kind of sort of on Instagram. But I do update all of my other social medias to whether I'm just like rambling and yapping on Twitter or like posting stuff on Facebook. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, like I said, I'm you know what I mean? I'm grateful you came on here, shared your time. And I do look forward to following, and hopefully we could collaborate in the future.
Hey, man. For sure.
You never know.
I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
Well, no doubt. And with that being said, Spearhead out.